So this is one of the stages of the ladybugs. This is called the larva stage. This stage here that you're seeing is called a pupa stage. And of course, then we have the adults.
So guys, you can use ladybugs as a form of pest control for your aphids. So I came out this morning and I noticed there were a whole lot of aphids on this pepper plant that I have here. And so I did notice some ladybugs on my cucumber vine. So I went and I got 2 ladybugs and I brought them and I put them on this pepper plant that had all these aphids on it. And I can see already that they have been doing their job, because there was a whole set of aphids on top here and I'm not seeing as much aphids as I was seeing before. So definitely having ladybugs on your plants will help with the control of aphids, because I did read that the ladybugs can eat up to 300 aphids a day. So here we see them at work. So I'm using the ladybugs as my pest control, as one means of my pest control.
Here we see another ladybug, but this one is black and red. I harvested some garden beans from the garden. I'm going to saute it now to eat. All right, so we're going to look at a new garden extension or a new addition to my garden. So this was my concept that I had. I drafted it out and then I had my brother-in-law build it for me. So here you see that I'm painting the outside. Okay guys, so I'm out here in my garden area. I need to start filling these garden beds here. So I bought some soil and some compost in order to start filling. I'm going to just work on this section here alone to fill. I'm going to use a combination of some topsoil that I bought and some compost, as well as some garden, some leaves that I have decomposing and grass clippings in the back there. Let me see if I can show it to you. So I have some grass clippings in the back here and some leaves that are decomposing. I'm going to add that to it as well, to the bottom, and also some stuff that I have in my compost as well. Alright, to help to fill this garden box that I have here. Alright, and what I'm going to do is put a layer of fabric down and then start to fill it. So I have some cocoa peat or cocoa coir that I have here, and I'm going to add that along with the soil to help top up my bed. So I'm just soaking it here to break it up. Okay, so I have a bucket here of cocoa peat. So I'm going to put this at the bottom here. To help fill my raised bed. Rather, this is called an elevated bed because it's completely off the ground. Right, let me bring some more again to add to this. All right. I am sweating like crazy, guys. Alright, so I have my cocoa peat here. I'm going to now add in some topsoil to this. Break this up. And I'm going to empty a bag of compost. As a matter of fact, I'm going to empty the other bag of topsoil on top of this one. Now I have some homemade compost with leaves and so forth. It has a lot of microbes and life in it, like, you know, things to break down organic matter. I even saw a centipede, a huge centipede in it today. So I think I'm going to put a little bit of it in here just to add some life to this soil. Obviously it has a lot of worms in it as well. I even saw the German cockroach. Of course, those cockroaches also help to break down organic matter. So it's not the American cockroach, it's the German cockroach. That one doesn't freak me out as much as the American one does. Has a lot of roly-polies in it as well. Alright, so what I'll do is go and get some of that and put it on top here as a layer. Then I'll put another layer of the topsoil, and then I'll put compost on the top layer, right? So let's go and get some of that. Oh guys, I am sweating like crazy. It is like so hot. It's humid. Right, let's empty this homemade compost now. Yeah, it has all sort of life in it. All kind of creepy crawlies are in here. But these creepy crawlies is what helps to break down organic matter. Alright, so the next layer is going to be another layer of topsoil. Oh, don't inhale that. Alright guys, well, that's the idea. My first section of elevated bed is filled. And so now it's ready for me to plant. What I will do is probably put a little top dressing of organic granular plant food and some bone meal. And this bed would be ready for planting. Okay guys, so our first section of our garden bed is filled. Okay guys, so this is my little bed for my lettuce. So as you can see, I have an insect netting on it. Let me remove the insect netting, and you would see that I have put some seeds to germinate, and some of them have germinated. So I'm going to put another row of seeds to germinate. Okay, so if you look here, you'll see some of the germination that has taken place. Notice on this side I'm not seeing much germination, but down here I'm seeing some more germination. So what I'm going to do is put another row of seeds down to germinate.
All right, so I'm going to put some thyme seeds to germinate here. All right, see if we can smoothen it out. All right, I'm going to use this stone here to flatten it out. I want this nice and flat. I sprinkle some thyme here now. Let's see here. It says it takes 10 to 15 days for these seeds to germinate. And the thyme seeds are extremely small. Like, you could barely see it with your naked eye. So I am just gonna, I'm sprinkling, but I can't really see where it's falling because it's so small. Well, let's hope something germinates. All right, so now I'm gonna sprinkle. Somewhere. Let me sprinkle some soil on top lightly. All right, that should be good. Now I'm just gonna flatten it. And now we're just gonna water this in. And what is it we put there? We had put thyme, so let's stick our marker. So I'm just gonna water this in. All right, so the next one we're gonna work with is this pot. So I had just put some plant food on top. So I'm just gonna work it in to the soil. And now I'm gonna flatten it as well. All right. Just make a nice flat surface for our seeds. All right. Piece of wood here, let's take that out. All right. What are we going to sprinkle in this one? All right, I'm going to sprinkle in this one some parsley, seeds. This one says days to germinate, 14 days, so 2 weeks. This I would take for this to germinate. All right, let's get some this parsley seeds here now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I put 10 seeds in there. I'm going to do the same thing. Just going to put our dusting on top. All right, so the next one we're going to work on is some scythe. Put some scythe to germinate here. Okay guys, so I'm going to put some Thai basil to germinate. So I'm going to put 4 seeds to germinate for sage, and for the dill I'll put 2 seeds to germinate. So guys, I just wanted to show you that this bell pepper plant, there's a small bell pepper that came out on it, and you can see it is starting to ripen. I see that there are 2 other bell peppers here. I don't know if they will develop, but we will wait to see. But at least I have this one here that has started to ripen. And over here guys, you can see that my okra has started to get big. So this one here, I'm going to harvest it now.
because it's big enough for me to harvest. You can actually eat this raw, guys, in case you don't know. You can eat okra raw, and also the leaves of the okra are also edible. You can cook with it. I'm trying to remember if you can eat it raw. I will double check that and leave a note on the video. But yes, I just harvest my first okra. I just have to wait for these to develop and get bigger. Okay guys, so let's look to see what has germinated, or the progress of it, that is. So here we have these lettuce that have germinated. Now as you can see, they're all in some cases bunched up because the seeds fell out that way. So I will have to try to thin it out. Like when they get bigger, I will move them so that everybody gets proper spacing. But that's what we have. So I'm not seeing germination of all the seeds. I also had put some other seeds here and nothing has germinated as yet. So I still have to wait for that. But I have these here. On this bed, I did put some seeds to germinate. Again, I'm not seeing anything that has burst through as yet. So we still have to wait for that. Over here, I have these two. These are seasoning pepper plants. However, they were cross-pollinated with a hot pepper. So the peppers that I'm getting from these plants will be hot. This would look like a seasoning pepper, but it will also be hot. So far it is looking okay. Let me just check for aphids. Nope. Yeah, actually I do see one. So let's kill that. All right, so let's see if we see any aphids on it. I had this covered with my insect netting to prevent it from being eaten, or from those moths or butterflies laying eggs, and that will cause cutworms. So because of that, you see the leaves are looking nice and healthy. So I'm just looking for aphids. If I see any, so I can kill them early, because they also suck the plants and weaken it. So we want to look for aphids, right? Any here in the new growth? No aphids, good. So I can cover back these plants here. Okay, over here, I had put some spring onions to germinate. As you can see, some of them have germinated. So we'll continue to monitor the progress of this. Here I have another bell pepper plant. Well, of course, this one is open, so it has been eaten. I have to constantly be putting things for aphids. You can see the ants. The ants is what brings the aphids back. They literally farm the aphids. So I'm going to have to spray it again with my little concoction because I'm seeing evidence that the ants are bringing back the aphids here. So later this evening when it's cool, I would spray. Let me just pull this up here. I have to hook that again. All right, so we have that there. And here I have, this is cilantro, but it's not looking so good. I did put some cilantro to germinate. This is a sweet basil again. You can see it has been attacked and ravaged, so I'm going to pick off all the bad leaves and get rid of that. You know what I'll do? I'll pinch the top here and I will encourage. There you go. So this now is going to continue to grow. But these sick-looking leaves, because of leaf miners and cutworms and stuff, you can see that they have ravaged the plant. I mean, so many of my plants have been ravaged because of these cutworms. Look at that. Look at that. Just so many of them. Look at this one, another sweet basil, completely stripped. This year, the cutworms has been really crazy. All right, let's head over here and see what else we have. All right, so here in my food wall, I have butternut squash that is growing. Again,
I was away, and so insects and so forth took over the butternut squash plant, and as you can see, it's, it's having a hard time. But the fruit is here, so I have this fruit here, is one. I don't think I'm going to get any more because, like I said, it has been really devastated. But I will just wait for the fruit to ripen, and then I will put some new plants. I have another one here, and I have another one here. And I did put a bag over it to protect it. If you're interested in this type of bag that you can use to protect your fruits and your produce, I will leave a link in the description for where I got these bags. But yeah, so I have 3 butternut squash here on my food wall, right? All right, let's see what else. Let's see what germinated in the greenhouse. All right, so in the greenhouse, I have some peppers waiting to germinate. I see evidence that one is coming out here. What is this here? This is another pepper. I see evidence of it bursting through. I have some tomatoes. I see this has burst through here, and this one. I see another one coming out here. This is tomato again. I see one coming out here. This is some cucumber. Well, you can see how big they are. I'm waiting for these bush beans. This is butternut squash. Well, this one has already burst through, but this one I can see signs of it bursting through here. So that's what we have in terms of the greenhouse. What do we have here? In this pot here, I have, this is a sweet potato plant that is growing here. I really had a pepper plant, but again, my pepper plants all got ravaged, so I'm going to have to put new pepper plants in. But the compost that I had used had a skin of a sweet potato, and it grew a plant. So I left it there because you can use the leaves to cook with. You know, you can saute just like you would saute callaloo, or, okay, for those of you who don't know that what that is, but you could saute this with like onion and garlic and so forth, right? And peppers and so forth. So you can use or cook the leaves of your sweet potato. This here is a sweet basil that I had put here. Again, you can see it has been ravaged, it has been eaten. In this pot I have some ginger. This is another sweet potato plant that is growing here. That spray bottle, guys, don't worry. I don't use chemicals in my garden, but I use that to spray neem oil on my plants. This here is in the ground itself. This is ginger that is growing in the ground itself. We have another pepper plant here. We have this pepper plant here that has this pepper that is ripening, and 2 other small peppers coming out here. This is supposed to be a jalapeno, but up to now I still haven't gotten any fruit on it. So I don't know. I mean, I'm leaving it, but and hopefully it you know, I get some produce from it. We have some celery here. Is this? No, this is parsley. I have parsley in this pot here. This is another pepper plant that, as you can see, not doing so well. This is another pepper plant. This is actually the pepper plant where I got the seasoning peppers that were hot. I got it from the nursery. It had peppers on it already. It was so long at the nursery. So I took the peppers, I got the seeds, and I tried to germinate it. And those peppers that I showed you earlier on in my trough, that is the seeds that germinated from this pepper plant. This is my zinnia. As you can see, looks all beat up. I can see a spider right there. Let me see if I block this. There's a spider right there. Another bud wants to come out there. So this bed I took out. I mean, the last planting season with tomatoes, it was not good for me. They did not develop any tomatoes, and they were just getting taller and taller, and I had no way. It was passing the stake, so I just took everything out. I removed the grass mulch that I had on this bed, and that's because I'm going to put down some compost on it, and then I'm going to replant again with tomatoes. Uh, Again, you can see how my pepper plant here has been stripped completely. So yeah, the cutworms this year, guys, really bad. Again, this bed I removed my grass mulch. There's 2 peppers in the back there. I'm going to pinch off all those sick looking leaves. The other peppers that I had here, they were diseased, so I had to pull them. These 2, you can see there is a disease on it. However, I have not pulled it. What I'll do is just continue picking off the sick looking leaves and use the concoction with baking soda to help to combat whatever disease the plant has and see if it will catch itself. But I removed all the grass mulch again because I want to put down some compost before I start planting. So those seeds that I have in my greenhouse there, when they germinate, this is going to be their home. So the tomatoes, this is going to be their home. The peppers, this is going to be their home. This bed had peppers again. Um, Again, it has got some disease, but I did not pull it. I noticed this one, I saw some peppers coming out on it. I have sweet basil next to it, and again, these sweet basil, well, they're having a hard time, but we'll see what happens with that, right? So all of here, so like these pots here, this is for cucumbers. I'm going to put a cucumber in this one, put a cucumber in these 2. This is my okra. We have a flower out this morning, open. I picked one of the okra yesterday when I had fried it up. And I see it has another one here. We have a flower here and we have some in the back here. So we have some okra to get. Nice. What else do we have here? I mean, as you can see, guys, I mean, the garden, I have to start back, so to speak, from scratch. Everything is young. I'm waiting for things to germinate and so forth. So I'll keep you guys posted on the journey and how things progress. This is my fever grass here. So I use this to make tea. In the back here, these plants here, that's turmeric. This was a volunteer butternut squash that again is being eaten, as you can see. This is my hibiscus plant here. And the aphids really take over this plant. And unfortunately, I've lost all my ladybugs. They were on my cucumber vine, and when I took it down, I lost them. So I don't have my ladybugs to eat all the aphids. This is another pepper plant here that, as you can see, doesn't look so good. So I'm gonna have to give it. It looks like it's probably needs some nitrogen. I'm gonna have to give it some sort of fertilizer to deal with that. And this is another okra plant that I have here. All right. In the back there is where I have my, well, you can't see, it's covered, my hydroponic system with my plants. I had to cover it because 1 of the heat, and 2, trying to see if I could prevent the moths and butterflies from laying their eggs, because yesterday I went and one of my plants was completely stripped because of the cutworms. This is big leaf thyme. Again, I use this to make tea as well, and you also use this for like seasoning and so forth.
Okay guys, this is my first cauliflower harvest from my hydroponic system. I'm gonna go ahead and harvest this. Remember, the leaves of the cauliflower is edible. So, you could saute these leaves with some onion and garlic and ginger if you wish. So guys, this is my hydroponic system here. These are the plants that I have growing. I was able to harvest one cauliflower from it already. I have to wait for the others. This has cauliflower in it and it has cabbage in it. Like I said, I have to wait because they're not ready as yet. Guys, I'm just trimming the sick looking leaves on my zinnia. There's a lot of leaf minor damage, and so I'm just trimming that off.